Yo, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Mostly Low Budget Movie Reviews. I am your host, Clarence. Thank you for tuning in. My apologies for the lack of content this weekend. As always, I always say life happens. And I just had one of those weekends where I really couldn't get motivated. I just wasn't in the mood to record anything really. So I took a couple days and now I am back with the big release that came out last weekend, which is Michael B. Jordan's directorial debut with Creed 3, which if you're not familiar, this is a spinoff of the whole Rocky series, which I won't get into any of that too much, but I will say my favorite Rocky movie, just because I'm on topic here, is probably Rocky 3 with Clubber Lang as the main protagonist. I thought that was the most complete story, for the most part. The arc that it took from him being on top of the world, about to retire, and then realizing he may not be as good as he thought he was, and he starts to question himself even more. And there's definitely some parallels to that movie with this movie, as you will see in the breakdown here. But what is this one about? Well, we start out with a time jump, actually. We see a young Adonis Creed sneaking on out of the house to help his much older friend Damien, played by Jonathan Majors. You see, he is a boxer and his dreams are making it big, after he turns pro. Spoiler free, but that night takes a tragic turn that has a major impact on their futures. Then we jump to the present and we see Creed is having this last fight. He retires, moves on to the next phase of his life. He's a family man, a promoter. He's doing his thing. Things are fine. And then one day he comes out of the gym and he sees a guy leaning on his car. Turns out to be Damien, who he hasn't seen in 18 years. They catch up and Damien wants his shot to be champion. Feeling a sense of obligation, he allows him to spar with, his fighters at the gym and help him out. And actually, that's where I'm going to stop. Because from there, he does help his friend with his career, but he finds out Damien, his motives are not pure, and he actually might be a problem. So he has to deal with his friend in the present, but also all those unresolved feelings from the past about what actually happened. So what did the pros think? Well, they came in at an 87% on 233 reviews on the Rotten scale, with the audience at a whopping 96% on over 2,500 reviews. So both very highly rated. But what did I think? Well, let's start with the positives. Of course, all the performances were great. Movie looks fantastic. But I want to put a special spotlight on Jonathan Majors, who does an excellent job. I mean, he's a bit on a run with these movies lately. I hope he keeps it going. Now he's playing the heel in this one. But for this to work, you have to actually be torn a little bit. And you could definitely understand Damien's point of view and why he would feel the way he feels. After all, he doesn't know what we know about Adonis. But I felt his pain and, what it was rooted in. And I kind of wanted to actually root for him a little bit and wanted to see him win at some points. I also enjoyed the Creed whole family dynamic, seeing him play with his daughter to support his wife and run the business and all this stuff. That was a good, behind the scenes look at his life, the aftermath of everything. It all felt pretty organic. And then it made that heel turn with Damien hit that much harder once, he flips on him. And what sports movie doesn't have a quality training montage? You have to have the training montage. As South Park would say, you got to have a montage. And this one, I really like the way Jordan handled this one. It wasn't just, the music played over and then you see a steady progression of training and the improvement. It was kind of broken up with the thought process. Damien's process and how they both approach their training camps. We see the issues and the problems on Creed's side, but we see, how Damien's just, he's just really focused and he's into it. He also did a really good job with the fight itself. It opened up regular enough with, the filling out process, but instead of just showing us, again, a montage of a bunch of rounds and the progression, he does this sequence that kind of strips away everything, adds this dream-like quality, and we kind of see what's going on in their heads, which accounts for, the montage, which counts for most of the rounds. And this was a very different and nice touch, I thought, on that part. And the fight choreography was really good. Not too over the top. Real enough. You felt the punches. They looked real. You really felt these real punches. But I do have to get into a few negatives. And honestly, it's just me nitpicking here. First off, it's a shade under 2 hours. And that actually might have been too short for the story they were trying to tell. The problem is the passage of time. It was just way too fast. All these events are too compressed. I mean, just to set up a heavyweight fight of that magnitude, it would take 6 to 8 months to put, a major heavyweight fight together. All these events felt like they took like 3 months. I would have liked for them to spread things out just a little bit. Let Damian go on his run for a couple years, defend the titles, while Creed struggles, watching the events he put in motion before deciding, to deal with overcome his health ailments and challenge him. And the only other thing, I started out the podcast with this. This was very similar to Rocky 3, which is fine because I enjoyed Rocky 3. Like I said, I really liked it, but it all was a little bit too familiar with the retirement. Even though, Clubber Lang wasn't friends with him, but there was a dude who was hungry and wanted his shot. And yeah, it just has some parallels there, but I don't want to beat this one up too much. Let me bottom line this one for you. Yes, I did enjoy this one a lot. I would put this one right at an 83% on the Rotten scale. The pacing of the events was way too fast for me, lacked a little bit of originality, and it could have used another layer. Again, I'm bringing up Rocky 3. In that movie, fear was a new element for Rocky to deal with. He'd never been afraid in his life, and he was to the point he actually was afraid of Clubber Lang. I'm not saying that's what they should have done here, but I'm just saying I needed something a little more, maybe one more layer they could have added. However, this was a very enjoyable movie. All the boxing was excellent. Loved the new take on the direction. Jordan did a good job. You can see his influence and his vision is different than the way Stallone likes to do his thing. So it was kind of a refreshing change to me. And if you didn't see it, last weekend, make some time to see it. You won't be disappointed. I think they might want to stop on a high note, though. But I'm hearing he has plans to do another one. And I hope he doesn't do what Rocky did and go too far. Because right now, I can't think of another story for them to tell with this character. I mean, this is a full-on arc. Unless there's something else that I'm missing here, I don't know what else they're going to do with it. But we will see. With that being said, I'm going to close it out right here. With this being, if this is your first time, don't make it your last. This has been a Podbean production, mostly low-budget movie reviews with Clarence, up on all streaming platforms. Definitely check me out. I should be back to my regularly scheduled uploads this week. I don't foresee anything changing that really. I'll be back again sooner rather than later because I feel bad about not doing any podcast last week. So I'm probably going to drop one this week at some point before I go back to my regular weekend thing. So definitely be out on the lookout for that. Maybe I'll do another midweek review or something. But anyway, I appreciate the support. Thank you very much. And I will see you guys next time. Peace.